This is a review for JLA, JSA, Virtue and Vice. This is an OGN, so you won't be seeing my usual common review of the covers that the trade collects, but luckily I found a loophole. I'm going to try and put pictures from the book in here. Probably not a lot, but using the screen cap tool and a torrent I found, I'm probably going to get you a decent range of pics to use here. Now, this is written by Geoff Johns and David S. Goyer, two names that in most cases usually come, in Geoff Johns' case more than Goyer's, because Goyer's, well, Blade Trinity, it's his only bad movie so far, at least to my knowledge. So, let me explain how I got this. I am at my store as usual. My store is very, covered in trades. They have every trade they can get their hands on. And they have this. And as you can see from the cover, those eyes are staring at you tentatively. It's very, very intimidating. And it got me. So, the story starts with Sentinel, who's Alan Scott, but Green Lantern, but at the time he was going by the name Sentinel, and Superman in the middle of space, looking at the Earth, kind of looking at the wonderful view, thinking, pondering, and it's Thanksgiving, and the Justice Society is on the Watchtower celebrating Thanksgiving with them. It's kind of a trust-building thing, like a family thing. It's really nice to see something like that happen. And then they say, we're going to start a tradition every other year we'll be at the Watchtower, and they'll switch off from Watchtower to JSA headquarters. It's a really nice thing, and it really kind of, I love how Johns kind of and Goyer formed this idea. I know they formed it in the other JSA series, that it's a family, the society's a family, and I like how they're trying to integrate the Justice League into that family. I think it's really nice. Stuff like that is very touching. And everyone's just having fun. Power Girl finds it very daunting to go onto the Watchtower, and Wally West even shares a nice little line of, well, I found it very intimidating going to the JSA headquarters. And all goes good until Superman finds that in the African continent of Tanzania, I'm pretty sure someone else could come up with a better pronunciation, but I'm trying. War's a little broken out while Luthor is there, and then we see one of the new gods. Who is it here? One moment, I'm cheating by having the book here. Well, new gods attacking, and Luthor. This is around this. This was published in 2002, so Luthor was president at the time, and Sentinel and Superman go fighting with Vixen, and this is the only time you'll see Vixen in the book. And the rest of the JSA and JLA come, scout the area, blah, blah, blah. Something very strange happens. Martian Manhunter picks it up, the telepathy, his telepathy abilities have been slightly askewed, and seven heroes start acting very peculiar, and the seven are Batman, Plastic Man, Green Lantern, who is Kyle Rayner at the time, Dr. Fate, Captain Marvel, Mr. Terrific, and Power Girl. They've been possessed by the spirits and all these spirits represent the seven deadly sins. Batman is possessed by anger, go figure. Plastic Man is possessed by greed, again, go figure. Captain Marvel's gluttony. Rayner is envy, Mr. Terrific's pride, Fate is sloth, and Power Girl is lust. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. And you just kind of notice them acting very strange early on, especially this really creepy, at least disturbing image where Power Girl licks Superman's face, and the picture's in here, but it's jarring for me. It's a really awkward scene, especially after the line that comes after she does it. Superman's like, "What do you think you're doing?" And Power Girl's like, "I'm rocking your world," and licking her face. It's really disturbing, especially with the whole. I have no clear idea of how, if they are related at all. I don't know. That that confuses me to still no end. But it's nice. Now, one complaint I've seen, because I've checked reviews for this, because this came out in 2002. I wanted to see if I could find any reviews. According to most Amazon reviews I've seen, the only complaint they had was the large amounts of people. Now, from reading the Johns' last run on Justice Society, he could handle it. Him and Goyer, I don't see a complaint with this at all. They took the smart route of separating the heroes into factions and groups, particularly with the 7 Heroes Are Possessed, and saw a group of heroes, Garrick, I think Wally, Garrick, Wildcat, and who else? Hawkman and the Atom are teleported to Limbo, where you can't die, you are there to fight it forever. Sentinel, Stargirl, Wonder Woman, Superman are sent into Dr. Fate's tower. And while this is happening, because the Rock of Eternity, which is Captain Marvel's home base, the place where the Wizard Shazam lives, is they go to figure out what's going on there. And the weird thing is, we figure out that these heroes are actually obeying Lex Luthor, which leads to this really cool page of them kneeling down to Luthor. And Midnight, Dr. Midnight, Black Canary, and Green Arrow are there trying to figure out how Luthor has control. And we find out that the spirits of the sins, the souls, were released from the Rock of Eternity and possess these heroes, which leads to this image of the astral projections, these statues, and Power Girl looking, wow, they not only did they see this as a no-brainer, they really ran with this idea. And they noticed that Despero, who apparently in continuity has been kind of who's just a conscience, his body was separate or something like that. It's really confusing. Well, not incredibly confusing. Has possessed Luthor, and we find out he's pulling the strings there. He's made a deal with Johnny Sorrow, who's a Justice Society villain. I don't know much about him, but he's instantly awesome because he's an invisible man wearing a bright red suit with a red mask. How cool can... How much cooler can you get than that? All we need now is for him to have a Tommy gun. And we discover the plan, and it's really cool too. There's a scene where I think it's just kind of cool, poignant. So I think some people might think it's over the top. Where he takes the American flag from the White House and puts it on as a cape. So they figure out how to stop it, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, we get some images of naked Luthor. I know that's a really stupid thing to see there, but I wasn't expecting that, and I was scarred for a minute. Ugh. And we get this nice, cool double-page spread that, unfortunately, because this is a torrent in the binding, there's this giant line there. All in all, I really did love this. It's Goyer and Johns again with art by Carlos Pacheco, and I usually like him. The one complaint, and I know this sounds strange from a 17-year-old boy saying this, a 17-year-old man saying this, he draws Wonder Woman and Power Girl a little too, what's the word, curvy. It distracts me. I know that's the oddest complaint. Don't get me wrong. As a man, I say it looks nice, but it distracts me. I'm sounding stupid pronouncing this. Everything really, like the really awkward moments where, with the heroes who were possessed, and that's just because they were possessed, so it makes sense. Still, that Power Girl moment just disturbs me. Ugh. It was entertaining. The main draw for people, for anyone, and this was a draw that really stopped me from almost getting this, was the price. Now, like I said before, or if I haven't, I don't know anymore, I don't pay attention. This is a 96-page OGN. It's thick, it's thick as your average trade, but the thing is, on the first 2 volumes of JLA, New World Order and American Dreams are very thin. Same page length, like they're both like 96 pages, but this is like 3 times thicker than New World Order, and that's $8. If you buy this just straight up off the retail price, you're paying $18. Now, I think it is that I think it was that good that it definitely deserves it, but I think $18 is really steep for this many this few many pages. I would have been. I think I would have been. I probably would have been willing to pay $15, but this seemed like it's great. I do believe it is actually worth your dollar there, but I do encourage you to try and find it for cheaper. I'm not. Well, yes, I'm encouraging you to be a cheap bastard, but in all honesty, $18 is really steep for some people. So if you find it for cheap, and I don't know if it's still in print. The one I have has like the old DC logo on it, which instantly makes me a little wary of if it's still available or readily available. But I have seen it on Amazon, and it's pretty cheap, and that's how I dictate most of the prices. eBay, I can't imagine it's going incredibly expensive there either. I think on Amazon you could probably find a copy for $5 as I'm recording this. It's great. The art's great. Barring my really strange complaints of the women being a little too... And I think it's just because Wonder Woman and Power Girl have such revealing outfits that Pacheco found it necessary to just make them go... Bow, 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 bow. Yes, I do my own special effects. I really liked it. I thought it was clever. It was very... I mean... They get more done and shown in 96 pages that I think it takes Bendis to do in 2 story arcs of Avengers, in all honesty. I mean, it's so dense. That's why I think it's worth it. I highly recommend you try and find this if you're a big... if you want something that's at the level of a crossover but has no real continuity to, like, it is canon. I think it takes place after Tower of Babel, at least with JLA, where it takes place in JSA. All I know is it's when Black Adam's a teen member. Definitely get it. It's worth the buy.